Kim Young-dae reveals Kim Yoo-jung collapsed on set. Fans heartbroken. Imagine falling in love with someone who might destroy you and still choosing to stay. That single terrifying idea lies at the heart of Yoon So, the character currently turning Kim Young-dae into the most talked about actor of the season in the TVing original series Dear Ex. From the moment the first episode dropped, audiences have been flooded with one overwhelming sentiment. Kim Young-dae is no longer the promising rookie we once knew. He has arrived, and he has arrived in devastating style. Dear Ex is not just another revenge melodrama. It is a razor-sharp dissection of ambition, trauma, and the dangerous places where love and guilt collide. At its center stands Baek Ah-jin, played with ice-cold ferocity by Kim Yoo-jung, a woman who claws her way to the top by discarding every shred of humanity along the way. The people she ruins are simply labeled X, faceless casualties in her ascent. Yet there is one person she cannot fully erase. So, the only man who has ever seen the frightened girl behind the monster she has become. To Ah-jin, So is both sanctuary and fatal weakness, the single crack in an otherwise impenetrable armor. And Kim Young-dae makes us believe, scene after heartbreaking scene, that So would rather burn the world down than let that crack widen without him. What strikes everyone first is the deafening silence that has been broken among Kim Young-dae's own circle. For years, his friends politely liked an Instagram post or sent a quick "good job" text whenever a new project aired. With Dear Ex, the messages never stop. They binge episodes at 3 a.m. and flood his phone with theories, tears, and frantic demands for spoilers. Some confess they screamed at their screens when So made yet another self-sabotaging choice for love. Others say they have never felt so angry at a character, yet ached for him at the same time. When even your closest friends, who have watched you act since university workshops, tell you they are counting hours until the next episode drops, you know something extraordinary is happening. Kim Young-dae laughs when he recounts this, but there is a quiet wonder in his eyes. For the first time, the drama he is in feels bigger than himself. And it is So who carries that weight. This is not the polished prince of shooting stars or the ruthless heir of the penthouse. So loves like a man who has only ever been taught pain as currency. His devotion is soaked in sorrow, tangled with pity, and constantly at war with itself. Every gentle touch he gives Ah-jin is immediately followed by a flinch, as if he expects her to bite. Every time he defends her, you can almost hear the internal scream, asking whether he is saving her or enabling a monster. Kim Young-dae describes the role as walking on a wire blindfolded while carrying someone else's sins. One wrong step and both of them fall. The miracle is how steady he keeps his balance while making the audience feel every tremor. He explains that So's love began as guilt mistaken for affection. As a child, he learned from a coldly manipulative mother that love is something you have to earn through suffering. When little Ah-jin once bandaged his scraped knee and smiled at him without asking for anything in return, something inside him shattered and reformed around her. Years later, when he sees the scars she hides beneath designer suits and perfect lipstick, that childhood guilt roars back to life. He convinces himself that if he loves her hard enough, purely enough, sacrificially enough, he can finally repay the kindness she once showed him. It is a tragically distorted logic, and Kim Young-dae plays it with such raw transparency that viewers find themselves rooting for a romance they know is doomed. Critics who once cautiously praised his potential now run out of superlatives. They point to the microscopic shifts in his eyes when So watches Ah-jin lie without blinking, The way his shoulders cave inward every time she thanks him for covering up another crime. The barely audible crack in his voice when he whispers, "I'm not a good person either." These are not the broad strokes of a beginner. This is the work of an actor who has learned to live inside moral gray zones. Even fans who adored his villainous Joo Seok-hoon in The Penthouse admit the two roles are night and day. Seok-hoon's rage was volcanic and outward. Jun-so's pain is quiet, corrosive, and turned almost entirely against himself. Where Seok-hoon fought the world to protect his sister, Jun-so fights himself to protect a woman who may not want or deserve redemption. The emotional bandwidth required is staggering, and Kim Young-dae delivers it with a maturity that feels years ahead of his actual age. None of this would land half as hard without the electrifying presence of Kim Yoo-jung across from him. Kim Young-dae is unabashed in his admiration, recounting their first meeting with the slight shyness of a longtime fan. He had grown up watching her child actress roles and never imagined he would one day stand opposite her as a romantic lead. On set, she immediately took charge of their dynamic, guiding him through the terrifying intimacy their characters share. Off-camera, she is warm, funny, and relentlessly kind. But the moment the director calls action, something switches. Those famous doe eyes turn hollow and predatory. Her smile becomes a weapon. There were takes so intense that crew members instinctively stepped back. Kim Young-dae confesses there were moments he forgot they were acting. He felt genuine fear, followed instantly by the urgent need to protect his co-star from the darkness she was channeling. The toll on Kim Yoo-jung was visible. After 12-hour days of playing a remorseless sociopath, she would sit wrapped in a blanket, staring into space, physically trembling from the effort of holding that darkness inside. Kim Young-dae watched her refuse to break character between takes because dropping the mask, even for a second, would have cost too much energy to pick it back up. When filming wrapped on particularly brutal scenes, she sometimes couldn't stand. The staff would quietly bring her water and wait until the shaking stopped. "I have never respected anyone more," he says simply. "She gave parts of herself to Baek Ah-jin that I don't think she'll ever fully get back. And she did it without ever complaining once." That mutual respect radiates through every frame they share. Their chemistry is less like fireworks and more like the moment before an explosion. Still, heavy, impossible to look away from. When Jun-so cradles Ah-jin's face and begs her to stop before she loses what little humanity she has left, you can feel Kim Young-dae pouring every ounce of his own earnestness into the plea. When she stares back, unmoved, and asks why he still hasn't left her, Kim Yoo-jung's emptiness is so complete it leaves a physical ache in the viewer's chest. Together, they have created one of the most agonizing push-and-pull romances in recent K-drama history. The kind that leaves comment sections flooded with heartbroken essays and fan cams set to the saddest ballads. Dear X is still unfolding, with new episodes dropping every week, and the conversation only grows louder. Viewers debate late into the night. Can love born from guilt ever become something healthy? Is Jun-so saving Ah-jin or merely delaying the inevitable? Will he finally choose himself over her, or will he follow her all the way into the abyss? No one knows yet, not even the actors themselves. But one thing is certain. Kim Young-dae has seized this role with both hands and refused to let go. He has taken a character drowning in moral quicksand and made us fall in love with him anyway. And in doing so, he has stepped out of the shadow of every rising star label and planted himself firmly in the center of the spotlight, exactly where Yoon Jun-so's heartbreaking, beautiful, impossible love story demands he belong. If you haven't started Dear Ex yet, clear your schedule. Because once you see Kim Young-dae stare at Becca Jin like she is both his salvation and his damnation, you will understand why half the internet is losing sleep over a man who loves too much, forgives too easily, and might just destroy himself trying to put a shattered soul back together. And you will never look away.